for Earth. Welcome to our Facebook Live tonight. We're going to be talking about some of the glass enamels and how to do some shading with our color concentrates. So we're going to give it a few minutes and let everybody get on. So I'll just check. We've got some people joining now. Hi, everyone. Good evening. Hey, Stephen. So tell us where you're from. Say hello in the chat. Okay, we'll give it a few minutes and let a few people get on. So tonight I'm going to be talking about how to shade on top of your dried enamels. 2 weeks ago I showed a piece that I had put the enamels on, so it is dry. And so I'm going to show you how to do some basic shading and then talk a little bit just about our glass products. So, hey Luann, Debbie, Ginger, Belinda, everybody's jumping on. Awesome. Okay, so we'll give it just a few more minutes. Tonight, for if you comment, we'll have drawings at the end, and I have some DVD, CD combination to give away tonight. So that's kind of fun. If you already have this that I'm giving away, if you would like to just let us know and we can swap it for the next one, and then we can give that one away for the next prize. So just be sure and let us know if you already have it, okay? All right, so we got quite a few people on. So, and also, you know, who knows, technical issues happen. So if you guys hear or don't hear or see something wrong, be sure and let me know in the chat, and my husband will let me know and we'll fix that, okay? So again, for those of you that don't know, I'm Paula McCoy, owner of Colors for Earth. We are located on the northwest side of Fort Worth, Texas, in Weatherford, Texas. Our website is colorsforearth.com, and I'll put that up so that you can see that in just a second. We'll get a few more people on. Let me hide this one and show this. Okay, so there is our website, my email, and our phone number. If you don't have that, it is on, if you've ordered from us before, it is on our invoices. And also, if you have, tonight we're talking about the enamels. If you have purchased any of the enamels or the products that we use on glass, we have a private Facebook group, and that is called CFE, which stands for Colors for Earth, Glass Enamels, Glass Color Artists, excuse me, CFE Glass Color Artists, and I'm going to show you that when I switch and put the camera down, okay? So the two pieces you see on the screen, the one on the top is unfired, and the one on the bottom is the fired piece, okay? So I'm going to go to my overhead camera, and we'll get started, okay? All right. And let me hide this out of the way. I think everybody saw that. Okay, so this is our glass Facebook page. It is a closed group. You have to have purchased, you have to answer the 3 questions. If you have requested to get on that board and you haven't answered the questions, I'm not going to approve you. You have to answer those questions. Website, and then don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel so you get notifications when we go live. We are broadcasting live to both Facebook and to my YouTube channel. You will just search on my name, and then you'll see the Colors for Earth logo, okay? All right. So here is the finished piece, and then here is the one that is the dried enamels, okay? So what I'm going to show you is how to get this darker color shaded. This is all done with color concentrates, which is from our ceramic line, but when you use it thinly, you can apply it to achieve some shading. And I prefer to use the semi brush, but I'm going to show you how to use a liner brush also. I've added some purple out here on the leaves. You can see hints of that here and there. Okay, so I had started these pieces, believe it or not, a couple of years ago, and somebody said, oh, you can let it sit that long. Yes, you can. So that's kind of cool. As long as you I keep it covered up. I usually, you know, take a paper towel and cover that. I am working on a light board tonight because I wanted, I talked about that, but I don't think I've shown you how that makes a difference. Okay, so this is, do I have a question?
No.
Okay. This is 2 pieces of glass. I've got a clear piece and then I have a white opal. And I work on 96 COE. And in one of the other videos from a couple weeks ago, I show you how to transfer a pattern onto here. You can, believe it or not, let me grab one of the, not the same pattern, but I want to show you that if you had a pattern underneath you and you turned your light board up, you can kind of see the outline, and that's just with a pencil drawing. So if it was done with a Sharpie or it was a purchase pattern where it's a real dark line, you can see it, okay, through the white opal. So that is one way, so you don't have to try to transfer to your glass, okay? And now I got to figure out how to get it picked up off of here. Okay, so what I want you to see is also, you can see that, you know, I have a couple of little gaps, and let me come a little bit closer. Okay, so you can see a few gaps, but that's okay because we've got this other piece laying on top of it, okay? But you can see that everything looks opaque is what I wanted you to see. And let's look at this piece. And I'm going to back off so you can see. So I've got a few lighter areas. You can kind of see where it's a little bit thinner, okay? Or maybe it doesn't touch right up next to each other, but I'm okay with that. There's one there. As long as you don't have any really light areas, but you can see the greens are nice and solid. Some lines between is a good thing, you know. So when you put them on top of each other, you can see that they're going to overlap. And when you use white glass as your backing or an opal like the ivory or like a French vanilla kind of, this is what was on this one. This actually is 3 pieces of glass. There's 2 2-millimeter pieces, and then the ivory color is a 3-millimeter. And I did not dam that at all. This one I chose to just do 2 pieces for my demonstration so that it would be a little bit quicker. Okay, so hopefully everybody understands that. So I've pooled and puddled. I've done 2 color blending. Some of them have 3 color blending, and now we're going to do the shading on top. Okay, so I just wanted you to be aware. Yes, we have a question.
The question Moorcroft is on from Sydney.
Oh, hey, Lorraine. I'm glad you could join us. She's from Sydney, Australia. That's awesome. Every now and then she gets on. And then Karen from New Zealand. Okay, so I'm going to turn this off because it's kind of distracting. Okay, and then what we'll do is set one of the pieces aside. Oh, before I do that, do you want to see the piece that I posted yesterday in person? Okay, so this is a 6x12. Sometimes it's nicer to see it in person. Now, this is the one that I said I needed to be a little bit darker on. And I'll have you know that I have pulled the piece out of the kiln. It's wrapped in a towel, the one that I did last night. And I'll show you. I think it's cool enough. Yeah, it's cool to the touch. So let me grab it. Trying not to bust it, but I wanted it out. Okay, and here is this one. I just posted this picture. And it's much darker. I used a patty gray dam. I'm not fond of that with this particular technique, but I wanted to get it done so I could show you tonight. I did get quite a few bubbles. I think that was just because I was rushing things, okay? But you can see the difference. I went a little darker with my shading, and it made a huge difference. In the white, the petals, you can see them more distinct, you know, on the piece. They don't blend in as much, but I like both combinations. Okay, this is all done, well, not all of it. There's one thing. This is done with mostly color concentrates on your glass, which is a non-enamel. I think what I'm going to do is do a Zoom class on this because there's been a lot of interest, but it just may, or I may do, I'm not sure how those Facebook rooms work. I may just do that and invite those that said they were interested over to that. So I'll let you know in a day or so what I'm going to do, but I wanted to show you those. Okay. All right, I have another piece to show you too, but it has to cool off even more because it was in that same firing. And that was over 15 hours to fire that, because the other piece I had in there was in a stainless steel mold, and it was 4 layers. And anyway, I'll show you that in a bit. Okay. All right. So I'm going to remove one of these pieces and we're going to start shading. So I want to show you one that I have already shaded so you understand where I'm going with it. And this one's been sitting around forever and a day, so it may be a little dusty also. Okay, I think you can see both of those. Okay, so let me zoom in on one of those, and you can see, wrong direction, Paula. See the purples, and I've added the yellow for the center, so, and the purples on the edges of the leaves. So that's what I'm going to be doing. Okay. All right, so I'm going to kind of push that up, and what I'll do is just work on one of these. I'm going to lay that there just because I don't want to scratch. All right, so with the color concentrates, you need a bubble palette, they're called, just because they're little bubbles. And I'm going to use CC 136. Now, on the website, you have a color chart that I made up, that if you cap it, if you don't cap it, anyway, it's all on the color CC enhancer page under the enamels. Make sure you look at that, because some of the CCs, when you cap them, you end up losing the color. 136 is one that actually stays. Okay, and we're not capping this, it's other than we are going to sift over it, just because the CCs tend to make it a little dry in that area if you don't sift some clear powdered frit over it. Okay, so make sure you can see that. So I'm just taking a little dot of color out. Okay, and I'm going to back off just a little bit so you can see that. Okay, the other thing that I think I need to do, I think showing you the side camera would help. So let me put that on also. And I know we've got a little bit of glare there, but I still think you can see what I'm going to be doing. Okay. This is the Sumi brush. Okay. This is a small Sumi. They come in 4 sizes. The complete set, they're still on sale on the website. Okay. This is a black squirrel hair. It's like the hair on your head. It holds a lot of moisture, holds a lot of product. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to water load. That brush was dry. We're going to drag off the side of the bowl, and I'm turning the brush and dragging, turning the brush and dragging to achieve a point. Okay, so you're removing the excess. Getting an echo? Okay. Let me. Okay, so tell me if the echo is gone, somebody. Sorry about that. I forgot to mute the one camera. So it'll take about 8 seconds or so for you guys. So when you see my hand in the view of the camera, the echo should be off. Okay, we're good. All right, I just wanted to wait. Okay, so I'm going to water load, drag off to a point, and I'm going to tip into that color. Okay, so I am barely tipping, just the tip of that. See, there's hardly any color on there. Okay, and then I need to make a plan. Okay, so if I want to add some of this to this leaf, I'm going to sit it like in the middle of the area and then go from one direction to the other. Did you have a question?
Do you use the smooth side of the white or the rough side?
Okay, this is 96 COE, so there really isn't a rough side. If it is rough, I would use the smooth. Sometimes they have a little more texture. It's always going to be easier to paint on a non-textured surface. If you're a 90 COE, you may want to fire that, and I should remember that temperature, but I don't. Cheryl Thompson, if she's on, did you? Okay, so Janet, the echo is gone. Okay, because I still seen some.
Everybody says the sound is good. No echo. No echo.
Okay. All right. All right. I was just checking. All right. Because Margie said that echo is gone. Sorry. Okay. So fire that glass just hot enough that it smooths the surface out. When I've taught at Cheryl's shop over in Dallas, and she is a 90 user, we've done that before. Or I believe that, I don't remember Bullseye or if it was you or Boris at the time that made a smoother clear for sure. But it's easier when you're on a smooth surface. Okay, that brush is set there for a while I was talking, so I'm going to rinse and reload. Okay, just a little bit of color on there. All right, so now, and the other thing you need to do is to protect your glass from your wrist print, hand print, okay? And I'm going to start in the center, and I'm going to just sit it down and kind of tap, 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 quickly work it both directions. And I'm just barely touching that, because when you start adding water on top of that dry enamel, it's going to start liquefying it, and it's going to move, okay? It's not going to stay in, it's going to lift the paint off. I would rinse my brush, drag off the side. Yes.
What size Sumi brush is it again?
This is the small Sumi brush.
And Untitled says, how can I tell what size Sumi brush I should be using?
Good question. So Linda's asking, well, how can I tell what size? You want to use the largest one possible in the area for the softest look, so you don't see what I consider the footprint of the brush or the brush stroke. So if this was your, so you would just see, this is what I'm doing on there. I think you can see it better if I do that. And I'm not sure you can see it in this side camera. Let me put the paper down. So I'm just barely touching and tipping, but the bristles are bent a little bit, but you got to remember there's water that's going all the way out here. So that water is going to start loosening up the enamel. Okay. And you don't, now you can also take the color and thin it down in the palette and use a liner brush to do it. And I'll show you that in a minute. Okay. So as far as how do you know, I can tell you probably for most of 99% of my glass painting, I'm going to use the small Linda. If you have a tiny, say like these leaves here that are much smaller, okay, you can use the smaller one. Just, you'll see it when you do it and you see like little, I call them rabbit tracks, and you'll see the footprint of the brush, then you know you need to go larger, okay? But I would say the small is my go-to, because unless you're doing a very large area, but even on these longer leaves, I'm still going to just use the small. Okay. All right. I'm going to load again. Tip into my color, get just a little bit on there, and, you know, constantly change direction. I'm going to jump over here and do some on this one at the base. And I need to move my camera. There we go. Okay, so I'm just going to touch it, and it's like you're just skimming the surface, and you're just putting a little tiny bit on there. Okay, and I'll go in closer after I get a couple of them done. Okay, but you can see it on this one here. You can see that purple halo, and you don't want it on, you know, necessarily on every single piece. Okay, and I'm going to move this one out of the way so that I can freely turn this other one and that you can see it. Okay, so I'm going to water load, and I'm water loading, dragging off to achieve the point, remove the excess water. So let's jump over here and say maybe I want some right here to kind of separate those two. And then did you see what I was doing there? Let me get the paper. So I had the color on, and I touched like this and then slide. So I call that a tuck and slide. You tuck the color in where you want it, tuck it in, pat it in place, and then you can slide. Okay, tuck and slide. Just remember to have a plan, get it on there and get off, because you can see how that's wet, and it's going to lose. If I were to touch that with the end of a brush or a fingernail or anything, it would scratch it and it would move it off of there, and I'd have to redo that leaf. And have I done that before? Absolutely, I have done it. So let's go up here if I want a little tiny bit. The larger the brush, the softer the look. And this goes for my ceramics and my glass. I do that in everything. But I can say in ceramics, probably the small and the medium are the two that I use. And on glass, pretty much the small. Okay, so let's go over here and do some. I think I'm still on. Make sure you can see me. Scoot that over a little bit. Okay, any questions, Bert?
No.
Remember, these are color concentrates. This is CC 136 Purple Sage. They are just what they say, color that is concentrated. So that is extremely strong, whether you think it is or not, because you've added the water. You're going to say, oh, that's not going to show up. Well, actually it will. If you get it too light, let it dry and come back and add some more. It's okay.
Almost off on the side camera.
Yeah, I'm trying to move. There we go. I'm moving it around. Sorry about that. So maybe I just want a little bit down here. And that's it. And I'm starting to lift right there. I'm going to come in close. Do you see that little, it's almost like it's not a white spot, but it is a spot. I think you can see it there. So that's where the color was thinner. And if I keep playing with that, it is going to lift off of there. Okay. And if I don't show you the mistakes, then you're not going to know how to fix them. Okay. Because by no means am I perfect. Yes. Question?
Can you use this technique on ceramics?
Absolutely. The question was, can you use this on ceramics? Correct. Yeah. I do a lot. Whoever asked, Sandy Fullerton. Sandy, yeah, I will base in a lot of same kind of concept that I've done here. I've done a 2-color blend, or maybe I've just blocked in an area, and then I will come back and sumi shade my highlights and my shadows on. Absolutely, both ways. Okay. All right, so let's get this on. I'm going to go over to this area. Water load, drag off to achieve a point, tip into that color, and I'm going to just add some right here. Now, what I just did was I went outside of my color, and it kind of starts just barely, just a tiny, tiny bit. And it starts to kind of just get really, really thin out there. And I can just clean that up with a clean brush and just kind of tell it to get back where it goes. Okay. So you can come in and do, as much shading as you want. Let's add some. Sometimes you got to figure out if you've got it on your brush or not. Okay. Yeah, let me know if I'm off. I think I'm okay, Bert. Okay. And I'm just going to add a little bit of purple on there. It's just a little hint of it. Now, I'm thinking I need some over here because they, and I'm going to do a pattern pack for this particular design. And then I'll probably try to do a zoom on it. If anybody's interested, send me a message. Let me know if you'd like a class on this. Okay, so now I'm going to separate these two leaves so that they look like they're individual, and that's just going to happen by me adding a little bit of purple there, just very quickly. Okay, so I think right now that's all I want on that. The other thing you have to think about is how this is going to look when you have the other piece on top. Okay, and I'm trying to remember. So depending on if I put it this way, you can still see some of those purples. Or if I go, this is the way, this because I need that big flower down there. So you can still see the purples on a few of those. Okay, so I'm going to move the white piece of glass out of the way. And we're going to work on the other one. All right. So now we need to make sure that the petals are defined and separated. Same color. You could use multiple colors. I'm keeping this fairly simple. I'm not trying to make, such a complex design that you won't want to do it, if there's so many steps. So I'm going to tuck it in and pull. And I get most of that down there. Water load, drag off to a point, tip in the color, and you definitely need to add some shading where that center is and up behind there. Now, did you notice I'm always aiming my brush where it's going? I'm tucking it into place. I'm not coming at it this direction, okay? I wouldn't want to go over here on this petal and do it here, because what's going to happen is it's going to be a line. And let me explain that by drawing it out. Because some people, they're like, what do you mean? So if you had and then you had another, this is a leaf, but petal leaf, it doesn't make any difference. So you want to make sure, so if this is the center or this is my stem down here, I want to make sure that I'm not going over here. So let's watch what happens. This is wrong. This is the wrong way to do it. Do you see how if you put it there, you're going to have a straight line, right? Now, what happens when you turn that around? And we're going to do it on this other one. We tuck the color where it goes, sit it down, walk it to the right, walk it to the left. Okay? So now do you see the difference? This one has a distinct line. This one fades from dark to light. This is the way you want to do it. Okay? This is wrong. This one is good. So hopefully that helps. So you've got to turn your work. People that sit and just try to do their work in one direction, it's just, you don't get the same look. I'm just going to tell you. You do not get the same look. Any questions, Bert?
Not at the moment.
Okay, so this project has the G series enamels on it. And then I'm just shading with the color concentrate. See, very quickly, get it on, get off. I've got enough water in here that I think I can do one more, so I did not reload with my water. Okay, and I'm just coming up. Now I'm going to load, drag off to a point, tip into my color. I'm going to tuck it in and walk that up and walk it down. Okay, we just got to get it on and leave it alone, because otherwise it's going to make a mess. Question? Okay. All right, I think you can still see this. All right, so I'm going to tuck it into this deeper area and walk out. Does this make sense, guys? Tell me if you're understanding what I'm saying, or if I'm not communicating what I'm doing. This is the way I've shaded ceramics for 25 years plus. So I just do it the same way on my glass. You just, yes.
Steve Decatur, I know that looks dark now, but does it lighten up quite a bit once it's fired?
It's just it's very, what you're seeing mostly, Stephen, is he wants to know if it lightens up. Well, the water portion, absolutely it will. Okay, so if you look on here, you can see that it's darker down in the crevices, down near the center. Okay, so let's do this. Let's look at, here's fresh, here's fired, and there is dry. So I'm not sure I can show you all that at once. Let me hide the side camera so you can see. Okay, sorry. I switched cameras and forgot to turn the mic back on. Okay, so what I was saying is this one is the wet one I just did. This one is dry. It's been dry a long time.
Okay. 2 questions.
Okay, hold on. Do you? Do you hear me now, Ginger? You should. Now we hear you. Okay, thank you, Michelle. All right, so what I was saying is wet, dry, and fired. Okay, so there is a purple under there. There is the 339 grape under there, so it's pretty dark. All I'm doing is reinforcing, maybe that's a better word, with this particular pattern. I'm reinforcing those shadowed areas, okay, with the color concentrate, 136. I'm just reinforcing it, okay? All right, so hopefully that makes sense.
What cone do you fire to?
Okay, what cone do I fire to? Okay, this is, who asked that question? Sandy Fullerton. Okay, this is not a cone firing because there's multiple layers of glass. You really need a digital. When I was doing window glass or float glass, I would fire, and it was single pane, I would fire to an 015. But this is two pieces, so it has to fuse. Well, this one is three, but this one I'm working on is two pieces, and you really need to be able to control your firing and do what we call a bubble squeeze. And for most of my all of the projects, they have suggested firing schedules. Every kiln is a little bit different, but you would just have to change your top temperature depending on the glass. Yes, we have another question.
Does the kit have a number and come with a pattern?
When you say kit, John, what I'm going to do is I call them class in a bags or technique sheets, and it will have everything listed as far as the colors you need. It'll be the instructions, colored photos, and I did take some video of this that I'll add, video clips of it. Plus, I did some of it 2 weeks ago, so you can see that on YouTube or go back to the live on my page. And I forgot what I was. Oh, okay. So as far as the kit, there's not going to be a kit. It's a technique sheet, or I may end up doing a Zoom. If there's enough of you that's interested, I can do like a really cheap Zoom and we can get together and do it. You can show me your pieces, I show you mine, that kind of thing. So like a $15 class, and you would get the handout, and then we could be live together and I can look at yours, see what you're doing right, wrong, because it really helps to do that. Okay, we got another question.
Yes. Was the glass you're working on blending with the G series and you're putting CC on top?
Correct. 2 weeks ago, I did some of this project on the live, and I did a 3-color blend. I used tea rose, and then I used orchid bloom and grape. No. Yeah. Yes. I think that was it. Question.
Ginger wants to know, do you fire each layer separately and then put them together and fire again?
Okay, so Ginger's asking, do you fire each layer separately and then put them together? There are some people that will do that. If it's over a certain number, as far as the number of layers of glass, that's usually a good recommendation. Remember, your color needs to be set at 1380. You can just take it to 1380 and basically, go back and anneal it and then shut it off. You can do that. Or like when we did the hydrangea project, it was 6 layers. It depends on the product, really, what you're using product wise, whether it can be done singly in one firing or you have to do multiples. But can you? Absolutely. You can go in there and you can fire each layer and then come back and fire them together. It's not going to hurt anything. It removes the binders. It does help somewhat as far as bubble control. Okay, so I'm just going to keep shading here while you guys are asking questions. Hopefully that answered them. So I'm not going to put a kit together as far as color, because I think most of you have the color. Now, if there's someone out there that is new and they don't have our product and you'd like me to put a kit together, I can do that. Like the hydrangea piece, I have a kit for it on Facebook, or excuse me, on the website. Um, so it just depends, but that was a webinar, so that's the reason I did that.
Could you use the darker enamel powders for shading if you don't have the color concentrates?
Well, okay, so what the question was, can you use the enamels for shading? You know, you can, but it's let's just do a section here. So I've got, this is grape, 339 grape, and I'm going to water load. It dries so fast and it's thicker. Um, I don't like it as well because I don't feel like I can have as much control. But can it be done? Absolutely. You just have to have patience and take your time. And we're going to put some yellow for the centers with an enamel. So I'm going to show you how that can be done also. Okay, so yes, it can be if you don't have the concentrates. Um, I like it because it's thinner, it's not as thick. I don't have to be worrying about getting it too heavy. That's my main. As long as they, and those of you that are new to our products, so like 136 and 336, this is the enamel, this is your concentrate. So they have the same pigment in them. So could you use one versus the other? Absolutely. Okay. It's just the enamels tend to dry very quickly and it's harder to, and they're not going to be as strong. Remember, these are color concentrates. They are concentrated color. And it takes very little. So I know a lot of you from overseas have ordered like the 2-ounce kits, which is great because then you save on shipping and they'll last forever. I mean, I've had some colors jars open that I don't use, some of the browns for over 10 years and they're fine. So, but for the most part, other than black, your 1-ounce size kit is more than enough unless you're going to be doing production wear. It goes so far. And when this dries out in your palette, you can just add a little bit of water and reconstitute. Okay. So you could have one palette just set aside. You could mark it with your numbers if you needed to. You can also make you a glass palette. There is one of our saggers that's on the website. Actually, it was a deviled egg tray is what it is. And what we did was make it into a glass mold. And so you've got all the sections, and there's a picture of it. Mark Hufford actually did it as a palette, and he put his colors on there. And you can go to the website. It's a TM 136 or something like that. But just go to the glass saggers, and you'll see that out there. It's kind of a fun piece to have. I have a piece cut for that, and I just haven't made that particular piece yet for myself. Okay, so you see how far it goes? I mean, this is like the size of the pea that I put out here. So it goes so far. And I'm just very light touch. Okay, very, very light touch. I don't know that I want to go back to the side camera. Hopefully you guys can see what I'm doing. I'm trying to keep my hands out of it. Okay, so I'm laying down more on the handle of the brush because I just want to just skim that surface there with a little bit of purple. Okay, so you just have to think, and I will indicate on the pattern where I shaded, and then you know, you can add more, take away whatever works for you. Any other questions, Bert?
No.
All right.
For the moment, we're good.
Okay, so we are just shading with color concentrates on top of the dry enamels, in case you've just joined us. And then I'm going to show you how to add the center to one of these. Mr. Bert's not feeling too well tonight, so we probably are not going to stay on too long.
Stay on as long as you want there.
We said we can stay on as long as we want. All right. So you guys got any other questions? It doesn't even have to be about this. It can be about enamels. Also, make sure I posted on my personal Facebook page earlier that this Saturday at 2:30, the third Saturday of every month, we have a open Zoom meeting. You do have to register on the website. The link is on my page. You have to go out there. It's under the education and the online Zoom meetings. You have to have an account on our website, colorsforearth.com, and you have to be signed in when you register, okay? And then it's just open forum. We'll talk ceramics, we'll talk glass. You can bring a piece to show me, because I will be able to see. It's a Zoom, so I can see you, you can see me, and we can talk through it. If you have questions specifically on something, then get that to me ahead of time so I can make sure that I answer those and I'm prepared to answer it. Okay, that would be great. We've had a lot of people that sign up and then they don't show up. I do send you the recording, and I did schedule some out for the next few months. But since I'm doing these Facebook Lives, if we don't get enough people on those, then I'm just going to continue with the Tuesday night and not do those. I just thought it would be great because you guys can, bring your pieces to the table and let me look at things. I can usually tell. And a lot of times when you have a question, I'll say, send me a picture, because picture is worth 1,000 words. Okay. I'm going to be able to tell what you've done. Okay. So keep that in mind. Okay. So I'm just continually shading. Like I said, you could go in. Now see, I touched that right there with my finger when I got that off the glass. So there's a little area there that I may have to go back and touch up with an enamel. So this is just a dried enamel that I did a 3-color blend on. And it's been dry, some of it for almost over a year, believe it or not. So just keep it protected. They make those plastic little storage bins you can get from the craft store. Those are great to put your projects in, just to keep the dust off of them. I have tons of those because I always have what we call UFOs, unfinished objects. Okay. All right. Anybody else got any questions? Hey, Nancy Nelson. Good evening. You have your granddaughters. All right. Hopefully yours paint with you, if I remember right. I think that's the right Nancy. There's so many of you with the same name. Sometimes it's hard to keep track of them. Okay. So our enamels fired to preferably a full fuse. That's what's recommended. 1380 is the bottom line if you're going to set the color. And then now, we have other non-enamels. So there's different things, different firing schedules, but pretty much everything is a full fuse is the recommendation. Okay. So these are the same concentrates that I use on my ceramics to do work. Brush strokes, they're great for brush strokes. And again, this is the piece that I'm working on. So I'm just adding this darker color, kind of almost look like a blue, but it is a purple. And then you can actually take and with the liner brush, you can add more definition if you want. And let me show you that. So see, I dropped a drop of water there, so I have to be careful and not touch that. So now I've got this is the 3600 number 2, and that's a Kolinsky sable liner. Okay, and what I'm going to do is just take some of that purple and I'm going to thin it down to an inky kind of a consistency. You don't want to thin it so much that it doesn't show, but you've got to get it thin enough that you can load your brush and get a good amount of color on there. So pull the brush through it and load it till you get that point. Okay, and now I can come in. I'm going to protect that with my paper towel, and I'm going to stay up on the tippy toes, and hopefully I can hold this where you can see it. And I'm just going to pull in some fine lines. Let me do this petal and then I'll show you. Okay, let me go in a little bit closer. Whoops. All right, see that there? So I can add additional lines. Now I need to wait. I wouldn't want to do it here because that's not dry yet. If I touch the brush to that, it's going to lift the enamel off. So you have to have patience. This one next to it, is pretty much dry, so I can come in and add some additional fine lines. Now, what happens is, though, the enamels just absorb. They suck up the water out of that brush, so you'll feel it dragging. And when you do these lines, make some that are different lengths, short and long, short and long, okay? And when you use the color concentrates to shade with, you will probably, unless you thin it way, way down, you will probably need to sift over that area with clear powdered frit so that you don't have any rough or textured look. Now, and you'll also get, and I don't know if you can see this, it's kind of textured. I'm not sure it's going to show up on the camera. Maybe a little bit, but anyway, it's not rough, but you'll see more of a matte finish, I guess is a better way to say it. Okay, so keep that in mind. Don't get real heavy. Don't go right into the color and onto the piece, because that's not gonna look good at all. Okay, all right, so let me go back over here while that one's drying. I don't know if I've got a fan that I can use. All right, let me get this one shaded real quick so that we can put in the yellow. Okay. Constantly turn your work, aim your color. This one is flipped the other direction. I've got enough water on my brush, and be careful, don't lay this down if there's something wet, because if you do that, it's going to end up lifting it off onto your paper towel or whatever you're, if you have the bridge, and I don't have one out, I don't think. No, I don't have one. If you have a bridge, that works really good. We used to have a clear acrylic bridge that we sold, but we're out of them at the moment. But you can, build you one out of wood. You don't have to have it clear. Okay. So just constantly go in, try to find, and like I said, on the pattern, I'll have this labeled. This is something I did over a year ago, and I just never published the packet. So I thought it was a good thing to show you, and then I'll go back and definitely get it written up. Give me a week or so. All right. Then I've still got some to do on there and some on the leaves, but you get the general idea. Okay, so if you're going to shade with the enamel, make sure that your enamel is stirred up and liquefied to the drip test. I'm going to add a couple more drops of the glass medium is what I've mixed with. Okay, mix that up really good. Clean off your tool, and I'm going to tilt this, and I'm going to go directly into it and lift it straight out. 1, 2, 3. So it dripped between a 2 and a 3, which is perfect. That's what I want. Okay, let me back off just a little bit. All right, any questions, Bert?
Nope.
Nope. Okay. I don't know. Paula, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm reading what Luann, the time on 3:30 on Saturday. So 2:30 Central Time is the meeting on Saturday, okay? And if you're not there and you have signed up, you will get the recording. And there is no real topic or anything. I'm just on there talking to you guys. I'm wanting you to ask questions, okay? So that's what we need, is you guys on there. Because if you're not on there, then I don't need to be on there, right? Okay, so you can't see that one. Okay. And let's see, we've got some light. There we go. Okay, so what I'm going to do is pull some of this color. This is the 324 yellow ochre. Okay, so what I did was I took it out, put it where you can see it, and I've got it in my lid, and I'm just going to load it on that liner. This is that same liner, the 3600 number 2 Kolinsky liner, and I'm going to try to get the finest point. I may have to drag it off the side. This is really not dry enough, but I'm going to see if I can do this, and I may I'm kind of scared to do it. It looks a little damp. All right, come on, guys. Ask me some questions while I'm waiting on this to dry. Okay, please. Just don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube. So I'm just barely, and I'm thinking I really need to show you the side camera, because if you don't, you're just not going to see. And I need to mute the. Yep. Okay, so I think I set that there. You can see it. Okay, so I'm just barely touching the surface. Do you see how tiny that is? And just barely, barely. Hopefully we didn't lose sound and we're not echoing. I turned the other mic off. Every time I do this, I think I'll remember what I did, and sometimes I don't. Okay, can you see that? You see how it's just barely, just itty bitty. And I can't zoom the side camera, guys. Sorry, there's no way to do that at all. Okay. Uh-oh, Bert's laughing. Who said what?
Oh, Pamela said, since you're asking for questions, have you been out in your garden working yet?
Who's that? Pamela.
Pamela Dahmer.
Been in my garden. I do have some seeds that are popping up on some stuff I planted. We had some storms last night. It rained, so hopefully, but no, I'm not. I have a black thumb, guys. So, yeah, some of them's already dying that I put out, so I won't go there.
Hey, Stephen wants to know, is there a limit to the number of layers? For example, paint, then CC, then paint on top, etc.
You know, eventually, Stephen's asking, is there a limit to the number of layers? I wouldn't get too heavy, but I'm going to zoom in from the top and see if you can. This is really light, and you have to build up. And it starts drying because the enamels dry quickly. And you literally, and I'll show you in a minute, you can literally see. Well, I can show you on this piece that I've already got dry. Let me put that up there. You can see the texture to it because it's sitting on top of the other color. I wouldn't go too many layers. And you'll know that because you won't be able to add them, because you're going to loosen what's underneath and it's going to start lifting off. Okay? So that's how you know. What was the question, Bert?
There is, where did it go? Off the screen.
But I am
going to mix two colors of CCs together to make a different shade.
Okay, so the question is, can you mix two C colors? Yes, you can mix two G. You can mix two of the G series colors together. You just want to make sure that if it has just the G in front of it, then you mix it with a G. Don't use a GT and a G together. You can mix the sparkles, which are GS, with any of your Gs. Just GTs are leaded. There's only 3 colors. They're 400 numbers, 416, 411, no, and 422. So don't mix those with anything else, because you've got a leaded color and an unleaded color, and that they don't work well together. Was there another question?
Nope.
Okay, so now what I did was I put out some 124. So if you find that this doesn't work for you using the regular enamel, which I personally don't like it, I like to have, I feel like I have more control with the color concentrates. So I'm going to thin down some of that yellow, and I'm just going to add some of that. And I really should wait for this to dry, because every layer I'm putting on there is going to start lifting that off. Okay, let me turn it around and do this one over here with just the CCs so you can see it. Okay, so this one, it's just, you know, the CCs do not have any glass in them. They're just pure pigment in a gel base, and so they'll absorb right into the enamel that's under them. Okay, it's just, do you see how quick that went? When I was doing the other one, I had to go really slow and deliberate. This is much easier to do. Okay, You can come in with greens on top of this too for some greens. You could do some dots if you wanted with our dotting tools. This is like a little ball on the end, and you could come in and actually add, you know, a little top onto that stamen. I did not do that on that original one, but I might as well show it to you on this one so that, and when you do dots, and I'll do it with the darker color so you can see it on here. When you load, whether it's the dotting tool or the handle of a brush, whatever you're using, okay, let me go back to, I'm going to hide.
Once the CCs are added, does it have to be capped to be food safe?
Once the CCs are added, does it have to be capped to be food safe? Absolutely. Well, if you thin it down enough that it's completely glossy when it's fired, you're good. But I would go ahead and just sift a thin layer of clear powdered frit, not fine, but powdered frit over the top of it. And that way you don't have to worry about it and you don't have to go back and do another firing, okay? But when you're doing your dots, keep in mind that the first one you put is your large, and every time you continue to dot, they get smaller. They're called graduated dots. If you want the same size dot on everything you're doing, then you need to load it for each time. And I did a video on the dotting tools. It's a piece of black glass that I used the GO330, the white outline, and I did a like a dot mandala looking thing with just that outline white. And I talk about the tools in that. So check that out if you're wanting more information on that. All right.
Are you working on clear 96 glass?
Yes, I am on clear on this particular piece. The other piece that's going underneath it, in case you weren't here at the beginning, is this one here. And this is white, opaque white. And then this piece, now that that's dry. Okay, so you were asking about how dark it was, my Stephen. So you can see how that after it's dry, it darkened or deepened in the color. And I think this is the right direction. So you can kind of see that, get it out of that light. Okay, so that will turn into that. So I guess the biggest thing, the teal, that really bright on the darker leaves, the larger leaves, that teal is a lot stronger. That really pops. Of course, the pink is going to pop. So that's the 334 tea rose pink. That's, if you want something pink, that's what I would definitely use. Okay. All right. So that's what it's going to look like. So you can kind of see that one's still wet. I can't work on that because the center is wet. I have the purple shading, but I'll go back and finish all these. But I wanted to kind of just give you guys some lessons on shading, and hopefully that helped. Any other questions?
Nope, not now.
Not now? Yes, that looks cool. Okay, good, good. Okay, so if you're going to do food safe, then definitely sift over it. So this was 3 pieces when I did it before. I used an ivory color, and then I had 2, that was a 3 millimeter, and then I had 2 2-millimeter clears on top of it, so that I didn't have to use dams or anything. I probably would dam it the next time. So this one I just made it into a 2-parter on this, excuse me, this new one. So I'll have all of those patterns in there. So whether you choose to do a 2 or a 3, you can see that. And if you joined late, I'll show you. This is the new test. This is done with the exception of one color. It is all done with color concentrates. And I have a color concentrated video out there that shows you how to do backgrounds, but I will do a class on this one. And I want to show you guys something real quick. Okay, so do you know that on the website, okay, I don't think you can see my cursor moving around, but this is on the education and then the video tutorials. So all you have to do is, these are buttons. All you got to do is click on the subject or the product, and it's going to take you to a playlist on my YouTube channel regarding brushstrokes, designers, CCs on glass, right there. That's going to have all of your information to do any type of stamping, watercolor backgrounds, all kinds of stuff. Murini paste, if you want to see every enamel, anything to do with glass, it's going to be under that one. Silk screening. So definitely look at those, and like I said, subscribe to the channel so that you have notice. All right. Any other questions before I show you? Okay, so that's what we did. I'm going to put this out of the way, and I'm going to unveil. I have not cleaned this. It's literally wrapped in an old towel. Look at this. And I've got some sharp edges. What do you think about that, guys? I just pulled it out of the kiln with the other piece. This is 4 layers. I will do a different firing schedule next time. I shouldn't have rushed it. What do you think about that? Do you like that? Do you want to know how to do something like that? Anybody? I need to check out those videos, Debbie said. Okay, good. Jeannie says she'll get nothing done but watch videos. Ginger, you like that? Pretty cool, huh? So this is black glass, and it was dammed in a stainless steel. I don't remember what size this is. This is like 5 by 9 or something, 5 by 10. You like that? Absolutely, yes, Den said. Hey, Mr. Den. Okay, so multiple layers. I got a few bubbles, but that's okay. So I'm going to work out this technique, but I quickly painted that the other night. It does need cold work because it was in a dam with 1/8" fiber paper. So kind of cool. I'm glad you like it. Thank you, Nancy. Okay. All right. So if you are new to us, here again, I'm going to put the website up there, email, phone number, and those of you that have known me a while, if you've got a question, just get on and call me, email me, message me. I'm pretty good about getting it answered pretty quickly, unless I'm on an airplane, and I'm not planning on going on any airplane. I am going to be out of commission for a week, probably the first part of June. I have to go to Minnesota to attend a funeral for one of my teachers that we lost a while back. So I will, but I'll let you guys know. It'll be on Facebook. Okay.
Who wants to know how many layers it is?
This is 4 layers. It's black and 3 clears, and they're all 3 millimeter. Okay, so it is, like I said, I just pulled this out, so it's almost a half. Let's see. It's a little over 1/4 of an inch or so is what it is. Okay, so that was that one, and then you guys, unless you joined late, there's that one. I can turn myself off so you can see that. So that's the one. So since this one didn't work like I liked it, this will probably be a giveaway at some point. Not tonight. Luann. She's so funny. Okay. So, all right, guys. Any last questions before we close for tonight? I thought I'd keep it short. Let me hide that.
And you painted on every one of those layers?
On the black one?
Yeah.
Yeah. Let me remember. No, I painted on 3 sides, I should say. 1 piece of glass, 2 sides, and then another piece, and then I used the black for the back, and I used a clear. Well, just broke that. Sorry, I had something fall off to cap this, because this is actually done with designers, and it has to be capped because it is a non-enamel. So, so I had a back and a cap, and then I painted on the two pieces in between is what I did.
Ginger wants to know if you have patterns for any of these that they can download.
I will have, whenever I post for the class, Ginger, I will have patterns and technique sheets. I've just been trying to create new stuff, and now I got to go back and actually write everything up. So I think I'm at that point. And I have another one of these that I'm going to do. This is like the Russian toll type work. I was going to show you something. Oh, you want to see what I did? This is the acrylic version of it. Okay. See how pretty that is? That's done with folk art acrylics. So what I wanted to do was kind of mimic that on glass. And so I've got a few things I want to change, but for the most part, I'm fairly pleased with the depth that I got in that. I thought that was kind of cool. So I'd like to show you, ways to go back and forth. All right, so let me go back and change my cameras wherever I'm at. Okay, there we go. All right, I'm back. Okay, guys, I hope you understood what I was saying when I was shading. Hopefully that gives you some tips and hints on how to achieve a different level of your enamels by adding some of that in. Do a practice piece. Just sit and base coat some different colors on make some petals or make some leaves, and then take some of the CCs that you have and try them. But don't forget to go out there on that CC Enhancer page on the website, okay? And do I have an echo? I might have. Hopefully I don't. Make sure that actually, okay, so I guess I lost audio again. Sorry about that, guys. Hold on, it'll be back on in just a second. Okay, I think I should be back. Sorry, I muted myself and I forgot. Okay, so what I was saying is hopefully I'm back now. Somebody tell me. I think I am. Back on. Okay, so on this DVD, there is the color charts, okay, that I show you how I create, but the colored sheets and unfired and fired is on the CC Enhancer page within the enamels on the website. So be sure and check those out. There's like 5 or 6 downloadable PDFs on just quick reference guides, how to stencil with them, how to stamp with them, how to stamp on thin fire. My firing schedules are out there on that. So everything is there. You just need to print those off. They're PDFs down below the photographs, okay? And Mr. Burt, are you ready to spin?
Oh, sure.
Oh, sure. Okay. All right, so we're going to give away the Exploring the Color Concentrates on Glass is our first giveaway. I meant to do this a couple of weeks ago, and then I keep forgetting to do it, so we are tonight. Okay, we're back. Okay, that's what I thought. Thank you, Ginger. I'm glad. Thanks for forgiving me. Trying to learn this. It's just, if I got 2 cameras, I got to mute one. If I only have 1 camera, I got to make sure the sound is on, and trying to do it all. So it's live. What do you get what you get. Sorry, guys. Okay, so, all right, Bert, when you're ready, spin for this first one. And I guess I could. He's getting a name. Drum roll. And the winner is Hold on, he doesn't, he's perfectionist. It's mine, it's mine. Luann, you don't even do that much glass. And I have a couple of ceramic ones that I'll give away next week, okay? Call out my name, Bert, Michelle says. Okay.
Well,
all right.
It's like the first one.
First one, which is the color concentrates,
is going to Sandy Fullerton.
Sandy Fullerton. I think she just posted she needed that one. Maybe that was her. Sandy. Yes, she did. Congratulations, Sandy. So I think I have your shipping information, but if I don't, will you please message me your information and email so you'll have tracking, and I'll get that shipped out to you. If you're planning on ordering, tell me that by messenger also, and I'll save it and put it in your order. Some people have done that in the past, okay? All right, so the next one that I'm giving out, and so, a lot of these are on sale on the website, just so you know. This one is the Dragonfly Nightlight. Okay, and this uses our mold. We have a dome-shaped mold, and then we have the platform that this goes on, and I actually painted the platform, which is a ceramic piece of bisque, with the enamels, just set it on the thin fire paper and just fired it in with my full fuse. So there's some cool techniques. I use some frit, the bubble art, the regular, the piping, quite a few different techniques on that one, okay? This is one of the first ones I did, so it's not as good as some of the later ones, so forgive my photography, but the information is there for you. Okay, this one is the Dragonfly Nightlight. Bert, who wins that one?
Nancy Nelson.
Nancy Nelson. Nancy Nelson, you are the winner of the Dragonfly Nightlight DVD. Now, you have to have a computer for these, okay, guys? Because there are PDF files and there are video files. If you do not have that, message me. Or if you have it already, put it in the chat so that we can do a different one, okay? I don't think... Okay, so Nancy, you don't have it already. If you don't have a drive, a CD drive or external drive or something to watch this, I could link you to Dropbox and you can download the files that way if you don't have a computer that you can put the disc in, okay? Because it is, like I said, it is, a CD that has PDF files on it, and it's pretty cool. Also, I want to let you know that if you're ordering and you would like a CD catalog, no, it's not a catalog, it's more of our product manual. It has links to all the ceramic, the glass information, YouTube's, all that. Normally it's $5. If you guys that are watching, if you just put in the comment section of your order the next time that you would like one of the product CDs, I will put that in your order free of charge for you, okay? But you need to notate it in there so that I know to put it in, okay? Don't order it. That's my gift to you. Okay, so the next winner, we got one more, Bert. This is for Debbie Elmer's ink technique. Now, some of you may have this, so if you do, let me know, and I can give you one of the other ones, okay? All right, Bert. And he is pulling from comments from YouTube and from Facebook so that everybody's included in the live giveaways. If you're watching the replay, these are already gone, okay? Because I know a lot of you go back and watch.
Stephen Decatur.
Stephen Decatur, you are the winner of the ink technique. So if you already have that, let me know. But if you don't, that one is yours. And there again, everybody that won, make sure you message me with your address, email, phone number, so I can put tracking on it. Luann says she likes the ink technique. It's fun. This is all done with color concentrates and the stamping, and then the dotting tool. Remember the dotting tool that I was showing you? And the quill pen. So there's a lot of cool techniques on that. So Stephen, are you still on here? Yay, he's still on there. All right. So if you've won and you're gonna order, be sure and instant message me to hold yours before I ship it. If not, I'll send those out within another day or so. I've got some orders for tomorrow, but I should be able to get it out this week for sure. And I believe everything else is out except for one person had me hold, and I think I'm caught up on everything. So, all right, Stephen, congratulations. Congratulations to all of our winners. All right, any last minute questions? And then we're stopping. Everybody okay? I don't see any questions on the chat. What was that called? The product catalog. Yes, Debbie, just say I want the product CD. There's only one, and there's a lot of ceramic on there because that was our original product line, but there is a lot of glass on there. Like I said, you have to have a CD drive because it's a menu oriented that you click and you go to the PDF and it downloads, or you go to a YouTube. There's all different types of things on there. You can download all the different color charts, all that kind of information. So, all right, guys, any last minute questions? You are welcome. Luann says thank you. Bert? Okay, guys, I will see you next Tuesday. We're doing ceramic, and I have no idea what I'm doing. So I will post something in the next day or so and let you know. Do you know when you'll be offering in-person classes? Boy, Phyllis, I don't know. We both just got our second COVID vaccine a week ago. And my husband is very high risk. So if you've got a shop, glass or ceramic shop, and you want to do a class and they've got a big screen TV, we can schedule something for that studio. Or it probably will be Zoom for a while. If you live in the Columbia, South Carolina area, October 1 and 2, they are doing their ceramic show. I will be there with both ceramic and glass. It's a small show, but it's got a huge competition, usually 300 to 400 pieces in there. And that'll be the first show that I'm going to do. So we'll see how that goes. Hopefully by then, most people will have their vaccines. So, but we can do online. We can do some Zooms, with doing these Tuesday nights, trying to come up with something every Tuesday and then trying to do classes on top of it. So just give me some time. Okay. All right, guys. Thanks, and take care and have a great week. Okay. And the Columbia show information, Michelle, is, I don't know if I put it on the website yet, but I will. Just watch, and I'll announce it on Facebook also. Okay. All right, guys. Thank you so much. Take care.